So the most important thing to remember is that the solution to a system of equations occurs where the functions intersect. So in today's packet, you'll be given a lot of like crazy equations, but the key is that you don't have to solve these equations. You don't even have to look at them. Really, all you have to do is look at the graph and see where the functions intersect or cross each other. Okay, so example A, again, they give you some crazy equations, especially because standardized tests, they like to throw you off, make you distracted by all these numbers and everything. But all they ask you to do is figure out how many solutions are there and what are they approximately. So looking at the graph, you just want to see how many times these two functions cross each other. So it looks like they cross once here, and once here. So they cross each other 3 times. There are 3 solutions. And the solutions are approximately when x is, if that's -1, that would be -1.5. Also when x is 0 on the y-axis. And also when x is about 1. Whenever you're asked to find the solution, you're just looking for the x value. So solution is the x value, unless they ask you for the y value, you're always just stating the x. So here's another example. You can pause the video, try it, and then check your answer. So this one, there's one solution, and they cross when x is -0.5. So if you're having trouble understanding anything on this page, pause the video, come talk to me, and I'll clarify anything for you. And if you're good, move on to the next. So here's another problem about breaking even. So they tell you the company's profit is given by this quadratic equation. So that would be this parabola here. And their cost is given by this linear function, y equals 7.5x, which is the line. So basically, looking at the graph, every time that the line is above the parabola, that means that their cost is higher than their profit, because that's the cost, that's the profit. You don't really want your cost to ever be higher than your profit, so really you want to see where they're going to break even or start making profit, which looks like after here. So they ask you, using the graphs of the cost and profit, how many items will they have to sell in order to break even? So you're looking at, again, where they cross. That's the break-even point. So obviously, if they sell 0 items, they're going to make $0. So break-even point at 0, 0. That's not really meaningful in a real-world context. So let's look a little bit closer. Looks like they cross again around here. So that would be about 10 or 11. Yeah, I think it's more like 11 items. So they would have to sell 11 items to break even. Now, if you didn't have a graph, you could graph these on the graphing calculator. We're just not going to do that in class. So the next one, Jason used the following equations to estimate manufacturing costs and revenue for a product. So cost, again, is the linear function, 57x. Revenue, again, is the parabola, this one. So again, we want to see how many products he should produce in order to break even. So it looks like he has 2 options here because the graphs cross at 2 spots. So they cross once there, once there. So he can either sell, that's about halfway to 1,000, so he could sell 500, or he could sell 2,000. So 500 or 2,000 would make him break even. Products. And basically anything between 500 and 2,000, the parabola or the revenue is higher than the cost. So he'll actually make money anywhere in here, but if he sells too few or too many items, then he will lose money. We are skipping a guided example C using the graphing calculator. I will still give you a reference sheet as to how to do this, but our calculators, we don't have enough for everybody, and they're all dead. So I'm not going to make you go through all of those steps. So you can skip also all of these. Skip, skip, skip. So this page is your homework to try tonight, and you're only going to do numbers 1, 2, and 3, because the rest are with graphing calculator. So skip 4 and 5. Numbers 1, 2, 3 are your homework. You could start it now if you have time. And then tomorrow in class you will have 2 options. So there's a Jeopardy review game on the next few pages. If you want to pick a partner, work on these problems, write down your final answers on a separate sheet of paper, and I will see how many points you get, and you can get some extra credit for doing this. But you also still have to do the test review, which is on the last few pages, so this is still required. If you want to skip the extra credit option and jump just to the test review, that's fine as well. There is probably 1 or 2 of these that you can skip, so let me just see. And then your test should be on Wednesday. These you should be able to do because you have the graph, but number 9 you may skip because you don't have the graph. And these solving by graphing, you know how to graph the lines. Make sure you get y equals mx plus b form. And of course, if you have any questions, just let me know. Have a great day.